What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our Big Ten channel. We're going to preview the 2024 schedule for Purdue here in this video. Before we get to that, let's look back at 2023. Here was the schedule from last season for Purdue. You can see a 4-8 record, but they beat some pretty good teams. They beat Virginia Tech on the road, beat Illinois, Minnesota, Indiana. Those weren't great teams, but I think Purdue was a little bit better than their record would suggest. You look at their losses, Fresno State definitely was a tough one, but they didn't have any terrible losses. It was just a tough schedule, and you're going to get more of the same in 2024. The good news is you do get an easy win there at Indiana State. They had no easy wins last year. You look at the non-conference, you've got that game against Indiana State, and then you've got Notre Dame, and then on the road at Oregon State. Now, Oregon State, they're not going to be anything like they were last season with the coaching change and all the transfers, but they still should be decent, and you have to play that game on the road, so that won't be an easy win there. All right, look at the home schedule. You've got, again, Indiana State, Notre Dame, Nebraska, Oregon, Northwestern, and Penn State. It's going to be tough for Purdue to get a win at home in the conference. Nebraska, Northwestern, maybe you can find a way to win one or maybe even both of those games if they improve this season. But it's a tough home schedule. It is a very tough home schedule. You look at the road schedule, again, Oregon State, there's Wisconsin on the road, Illinois, Ohio State, Michigan State, Indiana. You'd like to have Michigan State, Indiana, Illinois. You'd like to have those games at home because I think you'd have a real good, a much better chance of winning those games. Those are games that you can win. It's always tough when you're a bad team, and I'm not saying Purdue's going to be bad. But if you're, one of the lower teams in your conference, it's always tough when you have games against good teams at home. You'd like to play those games on the road because you're probably not going to win them anyway. You'd rather play these games, again, like Illinois, Michigan State, Indiana. You'd rather have those games at home. So it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be tough for Purdue again this season. You look at the schedule again, August 31st, Indiana State. Then they play Notre Dame on September 14th at home. And then it's on the road at Oregon State on the 21st, Nebraska on the 28th. And by the way, let me circle back here. They actually get their first bye week in week 2. So they'll play Indiana State and then get a bye week. So they're going to have extra time to prepare for Notre Dame. Really, if they don't spend a lot of time on Indiana State, Purdue's going to have basically all offseason to prepare for Notre Dame. So that could be interesting if that's the route that they take. Watch out. Maybe that's a big upset early in the season. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that's just an interesting dynamic there. And then they've got, again, Nebraska coming up on the 28th. Then they get Wisconsin on October the 5th on the road, Illinois on the 12th, so back-to-back road games there. And again, Illinois is a team I think you can beat, but you have to play them on the second of a back-to-back on the road. I mean, that's going to be tough. Then they have Oregon on the 19th. Then they get their second bye week before playing Northwestern on November 2nd. Then they go on the road to play Ohio State on the 9th, Penn State on the 16th. And again, you look at winnable games for them, Michigan State and Indiana. They have to play them both back-to-back on the road. So I just don't like the way this schedule sets up for Purdue. It's, again, probably the easiest games on this schedule outside of Indiana State are Oregon State, Illinois, Michigan State, and Indiana. All of those games are on the road. You have Illinois on the second game of back-to-back road games. Indiana's back-to-back road games. So it's just a tough schedule the way it sets up for Purdue. And if you're looking for this team to get to a bowl game, I don't know that this schedule gets them there unless they make some major improvements. And I do think this team will be better enough with this schedule. I don't know. It's going to be tough for Purdue in 2024.